Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to get this Jeep finished up and move on to our next project. Let's get the camera turned around and get started. Alright, so here's the final product that we came up with. When I ordered shocks, I ordered, I believe, 90 millimeter. It was just a set of 4. And it sits a little higher in the back than I want, so I may order a set of 80 for the rear. But for 20 bucks, I ordered 4. I figured worst case scenario, I would have 2 spare for the front. And that would at least give me an idea of what it would look like. So I've got the back as high as I can go on the mounts, and they're at a little bit of an angle. So I think if I order some 80s, then it'll be pretty good. I don't want it to look like a monster truck. I want it to look scale. This one's not a competition crawler or anything like that. I want it to look pretty realistic. So I think it came out pretty good. So just to catch you up from where we left off, I got the body on a quick release mount. So basically I just drilled a hole there in the front. This over there. And what I did was drill a hole in the front of the servo mount and put a little, like a dowel pin in there. This was actually one of the mounts from the servo, and that just locates the front and locks it in. You can see I had to move the servo mount forward 1 hole. It would have been here and here, but I had to move it forward for clearance for the motor. And you can see I just barely have enough clearance now. And then I couldn't use the 2 holes that were original for the servo mount, so I had to drill a hole in between, and now it's only mounted with 1 hole. Seems to be okay, seems to work. May change it, just trying to get this thing going. It's been dragging out long enough. I want to see this thing drive. I have the shifter servo taken off right now. It came with the cheap 9-gram plastic gear servo, and that lasted about 10 minutes. I'm going to put a metal gear 9-gram servo on there. These are the Remo Hobby wheels that I got from Scott off of his Remo Hobby. I like them. I think they look like Jeep wheels. I think they look scale. They're not super soft, but like I said, this isn't going to be like a competition crawler. This is just going to be for fun. What else? So we still have our threaded rod with our ball links. I'm just trying to finalize everything. Once I know the exact measurements, if you guys are building one of these 2-door Jeeps and you want the measurements, I can give those to you. I can tell you the front doesn't change. If you're building one of these, standard is 313 millimeters. This 2-door body, I believe, is 270. Your front doesn't change from standard axle rod length. The only one that moves is the back moves forward a little bit. And I had to move this shock tower. Was originally 1 hole back, so it was more centered. I moved it forward to the forwardmost mounting point, and since these shocks are too tall, you can see I have it in the very top hole. And then I also didn't use the shock mount. Let me go this way. I actually mounted it where the rod mounts, so that dropped me down another 1/4 of an inch. The shock was mounted here. I dropped it down to the same as the rod, and that dropped it down a little more. So it doesn't look too bad. It's not like a monster truck. My pinion angles and all are okay. It's there's no oil in these shocks yet, so I still have to take those apart. But I think it came out pretty good. Side note, Injora axles. So if you remember, this is kind of an Injora build. Supposed to be a budget build. $120-ish for the shiftable transmission, forward mounted motor design with the transfer case in the middle. All that I love. Aluminum parts, great. Went with the Injora motor. it was too long. It did not fit. So I had to order the axial, what did I end up getting? A 27 turn. And I had to get one that was shorter here. The Injora motor that I ordered was too long, and it was touching the servo. And you can see even with the shorter motor, I had to relocate the servo a little bit. It just barely fits in there. And the reason I had to move the servo back is because it hits the grill insert on the Jeep. So I actually cut the grill in half, and the reason I had to do that is because that's what holds the headlights in place. So I didn't want to glue those in. At least I can take 2 screws out, remove this. I just cut half the grill off the bottom. That gave me room for my servo, so all that worked. Another thing I did, you can take the doors off. Let's get that guy back. You can take the doors off, but when you get it, what you have to do is take the top off, take these 4 screws off, and then this front cowling comes off, if you remember that video a couple videos back, and then you can pull the pins out the top. Well, I didn't want to go through that every time I wanted to take the doors off, so what I did was pull the pins out, and I have some wire that I can remove this 1 screw, and then I can just pull this wire out the bottom. So I have 1 screw holding it in. I can pull that out and the door comes off. Still works great, everything operates. They still snap closed. 1 screw, pull that out, the doors come off. You still have to take 6 screws off to get the top off. If you want to run it without the top, you got to take the one off here, right there, and then there, the 4 screws on the back, if you just want to run it with no doors and no top. So other than that, I really enjoyed the build. Some of it was kind of tedious and made me mad at times. Yeah, the last thing I want to mention, okay, if you watched the video we did with Scott, we tried to upgrade the axles. You saw the tolerances on the pinion gear or the spider gears in the axles. So everything's in there now. Motor, front axles, rear axles, drive line, drive shafts. So 3 wheels are on the ground, Remo Hobby to the top. Right there before the back wheel even started turning. So this is how much play is in the Injora axles. You can see the drive shafts when they start to turn there. That's a lot of play. Guys, unless you just enjoy taking stuff apart and figuring stuff out, don't, I mean, look at this. I'm going to hold this wheel. That's how much movement you get. That's not good for a crawler. I mean, if you just want to go play in the woods, that's alright, but even for China quality, I figured 60 bucks would be better than that. So these axles are not staying on here. I may borrow Scott's original SEX 10.2 axles. I know he has plans to put those on his Remo Hobby, but I may borrow them until he gets the other ones on there. I'm kind of rambling now, but just wanted to kind of catch up. It's been a couple weeks since I put a video out. So the Jeep is going to be, I do have a run video. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw the little test run without the body. I've just got to put the ESC and all that back in it. Alright, so it doesn't look half bad. I'm going to get the ESC and the control and all that stuff put back in now that I can kind of hide it up in here. I believe I'm going to take this back window out because there's not really anywhere to put the battery underneath. So in order to keep some of the weight in the back, what I thought about getting is one of the smaller battery packs, leaving this window out, and then just throwing the battery on the back seat back there, and maybe wrap it in something to make it look like a blanket or a sleeping bag, and just throw it in the back. Not sure. So we're going to call it good on the Jeep. Next time you see it, I'll do a short little run video. As you can see in the background, We've got Little Lee. He finally got some gray in his beard, so he looks a little more like me. And then we got Lando Calrissian over here. So he is 12th scale, he is 10th scale. You see behind him is the motorhome, and I'm thinking about building a motorhome to tow this guy, the Ventera, on, or possibly tow the Jeep or whatever else we build. So let me know what you guys want to see next. You want to see a motorhome build? Do you want to see more on the Ventera? I've got a couple things I need to do to it. That was my chase vehicle for Scott's channel. So I have GoPro mounts on this guy, and I can chase him through the woods and all that. Right now my steering knuckle is off, so I got to take it off and fix the steering knuckle. We upgraded the battery tray for the larger battery. Good running truck. We also need to build a new garage, because I gave Scott the other one. I built that one for him. So I've just kind of temporarily got this up for a backdrop. So, alright guys, that's it for this episode. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Put in your comments down below what you might want the next build to be. We got the motorhome we might do. Maybe some upgrades on the Ventera, something like that. Maybe some run videos finally on this channel. Put in the comments what you'd like to see. Thanks for watching, guys.